police arrested 26-year-old Luigi Mangione in Altoona, Pennsylvania, Monday, when a McDonald's customer told an employee that she spotted him after that 5-day nationwide search. The employee called the police, who came. They found Mangione with a black ghost gun, which can be assembled from parts and is untraceable. That's similar to one used in the killing of Thompson.
As mainstream media covers the United Healthcare CEO shooting,
a valedictorian just shot a CEO. Think about the symbolism there. Like, dude studied his whole life, got 4.0, perfect GPA, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking down the man. You know what I mean? But honestly, when I heard about all this, I was disgusted when I found out he went to McDonald's. I was like, bro, BDS, dude, come on.
Leave it up to comedians like Sammy Obeid to hilariously put many parts of the story in perspective.
Online social media users are hailing Mangione as a hero. United Healthcare does have the highest claim denial rate among insurance companies, rejecting 32% of claims compared to the average of 16%. Police say that it all comes back to those words written on the shell casings: deny, defend, depose.
Those are harrowing messages. But for Obeid,
bro literally walked into a Starbucks, took down his mask, they got him on camera. That's how they identified him. And then his dumb goes to a McDonald's. Yeah, no, everybody thought he was a hero. Not anymore, man. He lost it. His activism only goes so far.
As a Palestinian, he jokes of Mangione now following the BDS, boycott, divest, sanction movement, of which McDonald's and Starbucks are happily in for the consumers who partake.
But as for the people donating, well, some of them are full on celebrating Mangione's actions, and the donations are coming in at all sorts of amounts, from the highest at $1,300, some as low as $5. One person writes under their $10 donation, I'm quoting here, "The shot heard around the nation. We cannot let it be in vain. You made the first stand. Thank you." Another person donated $500, writing this: "I hope this entire event leads to a rethinking of the wealthy people running this country. Health insurance has been a scam for far too long, and it needs to change. Stop talking about it and do something."
An angle that the mainstream press continues to intentionally misunderstand is the topic of healthcare. It's actually quite telling of the divide between legacy news outlets and the electorate.
But really, if we've learned anything from this week, is that people don't really give a when rich people die, No, we learned that for the Titanic submarine, and probably during the real Titanic. I wasn't around then, but they were probably cracking jokes at that time too. But yeah, we learned that people don't give a when the rich die, and we learned that a lot of assassins come from Pennsylvania for some reason. I don't know why that's like their thing.
A fair point. We are taken advantage of. We are conquered for our labor and left to waste by the ultra-wealthy running this country. This is the pillar of why so many simply do not feel sad for the event that took place.
When we say that you were the first to publish the manifesto, you weren't the first to get your hands on the manifesto. In fact, most media had their hands on it. Explain how you made that decision to publish it when they were withholding it.
That's exactly right. The major media outlets, from the New York Times to the Post, CNN, ABC, all had their hands on this document, were sitting on it, sharing it with themselves socially, which I know from my friends at these various outlets, but refused to provide it to the general public. And so when I obtained the document and read through it, I didn't see any reason not to publish it. And so I went ahead, did that in response to what I saw as media paternalism at its worst. The judgment that this is safe for us to read, but it's not okay for the public to read.
Ken, in that manifesto, what do you think were some key portions that were most newsworthy that the public deserved to know about?
The overwhelming focus on the healthcare system as an institution. That's not, of course, to say that it's okay to kill somebody. I think that goes almost without saying to advance those goals. But to see in this the fact that it wasn't just a completely random act of violence, as in fact the major media repeatedly asserted it was. If you look at, there's one particularly egregious case by CNN in how they were trying to paraphrase the contents of the document, again, without providing the underlying document to the public to come to their own conclusions. saying that in this are the rantings and ravings of a crazy person. When you read through that document, which wasn't that long, but it's very clear from it that this individual was motivated by grievances about the healthcare system. And so that's why it's important to get that out to the public.
It's also telling how mainstream outlets sat on this. It leads to this question. What else are they sitting on? Shout out to journalist Ken Klippenstein, a TYT alum, for breaking this story, and many others. Please do check out his Substack and become a paid member.
He took a Greyhound bus, stayed at a hostel. It's like, say what you will about the guy, he did it on a budget. Yeah, I mean, this guy was an assassin on a budget. Yeah, he made the gun out of a 3D printer. Dude, that's some nerd. Yeah, it was such a Gen Z shooting. You know what I mean? He used a 3D printer. He did ironic stuff like Monopoly money in the bag, wrote words on the bullets. You know what I mean? Like, he went all in. But hey, people are like, why did he do it? He was 26. He's off his family's health insurance. You know what I mean? Things got real too soon. 26 is the real age. Again, I don't support violence, but man, I didn't think of that when I was 26. I'll tell you that. When I turned 26, I was like, this is going to suck. I didn't think like, man, I should go shoot the CEO.
Truthful and hilarious from Sammy here.
A McDonald's employee recognized him while he was eating in the restaurant and called local police.
Here's yet another angle Obeid hits on.
And then they catch him at a McDonald's. And rookie mistake, bro. Rookie mistake. The Golden Arches are no safe haven, okay? I mean, first of all, the irony. It's like this guy takes down a CEO of a big corporation, then goes straight to McDonald's. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I like the Happy Meal. I'm sorry, And then a McDonald's employee, corporate, snitched him out and then got him. It's like, it's a sad story because like in the end, the corporations win.
Now that's a great point, but it's also a form of how capitalism has driven us to eat poisonous food on a budget or when we need a quick meal when, dare I say, on the run and in a hurry. Sammy Obeid is a fantastic comedian who we have highlighted previously. Check out his YouTube, his website for tour updates. You can catch a show locally, Instagram with the handle being his name, and TikTok before our government bans it. Shout out to Sammy. Great stuff as always. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision, bing, flag, footballs.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it.
Obviously, since Kendrick dropped his album, A Bar and Whacked Out Murals was talking about white comedians and whoop, whoop, whoop. Gary Owens tried to jump on that wave and said what he said and kind of fell to the side. But Andrew Schultz has kind of taken this opportunity to grow his fandom and his following and to me, clout chase. And I think since the song is dropped or the album is dropped, he's been the loudest person in this mix outside of Drake's allegations to, the record companies and the streaming companies.
Matt Barnes on All the Smoke gave his thoughts on the Andrew Schultz, Kendrick Lamar fiasco.
Andrew Schultz has been consistently day in, day out going in and trying to grow from this. And if you want to respond, to what Kendrick said in the song, although he didn't name no names, I don't think no one had a problem with that. But obviously I feel like you crossed the line when you started talking about taking his manhood and just disrespecting him as a man. And now you want to cry about the reaction. I'm not sure what you expected, bro. Comedy is comedy. It's hit or miss. And you've definitely found your lane and got some fame of late and have really been doing your thing up to this point. But you crossed the line, and I think that you're finding out what that means now. This is not a game. You're not really just going to go around disrespecting people these days, especially someone to his caliber who has the love of the entire West Coast by far. But a lot of love out there in general. So my advice, bro, is just fall back, leave it alone, let it blow over, because the more you talk, the more you're going to get in. I wish you and your family peace and happiness, bro.
Let's get into it. So let's go over the history first, and then we'll get into my perspective and others' perspective. First, Kendrick said in a song, all right, don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law. It's likely a reference to when Schultz went on a different podcast than his own and made jokes about black women, to which the host would apologize later for letting it slide because it was bad. It was trash. It wasn't funny. They gave him what I felt like were pity laughs. It was degrading. It was terrible. And to be clear, he reacted to, you've seen those before and after photos where, white men share on their Instagrams or TikTok or whatever, where they're like, hey, this is me before dating a black woman, and this is me after dating a black woman, and look at the glow up, and look at how much I've improved, and look at just me from a appearance perspective and a physical perspective. And Schultz hated it. Why you would hate that, I have no idea. Why you are, going in on someone being happy with themselves, being confident with themselves, improving their lives. Like, I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. But then again, I'm not Andrew Schultz. So he would then, and what you saw was a sample of some of the comments. He would then turn it into, hey, his crew will beat me up. If they see me out in the street, they're going to get me. All right. There's no doubt that they will F me up, and I will be left really, really, really hurt. No doubt about it. All right. But if it were me and Kendrick, I would R-word him. I would make sweet love to him, and I would R-word him. And I have no doubt that I would be able to come out on top. Pardon the pun. And that's why everybody's so taken aback by it. Because it's, like, first off, you're committing an essay, and secondly, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing to say from a weird guy who literally looks like his haircut would be modeled after Germany in the 30s. What is going on with this dude, man? So that was odd. I don't know when someone would say, oh, man, that's awesome. And then in return, what he would also do is play up the, I'm getting canceled, everyone's coming after me, blah, 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 blah. When no one is canceling you. First off, it doesn't exist. But secondly, it's because it was a dumb thing to say. It's because it was super unfunny. And I also think they gave you courtesy laughs there as well. You know why? Because it's the same thing that Jesselnick said about comedians going on Joe Rogan, where they just want it to be a whole dap-up party, and he's not about that life, and I don't blame him. But, like, some of the other dudes there, they know where their bread is buttered. They know that they cannot say anything about those that cut the checks. Now, some of you may be thinking, because I know it's going to pop into your head, what about you? Go look at previous comments I have made. I don't let stuff slide on here. But it doesn't matter. I thought Rosenberg also put this quite well in a tweet. Kendrick calls out Schultz for running down black women, more specifically, the dudes who let it happen unchecked. Andrew Schultz responds by saying, oh, because rappers are so pro-women. Schultz is no different than former Fox News host Bill O'Reilly. Acting like Kendrick Lamar is 2 Live Crew. It is a nonsensical response and shows Schultz doesn't actually like or understand hip-hop. Please hear me. Not all white guys are built the same. For some of us, black culture is not wacky fodder or a means to an end. Exactly. I also saw one of the dumbest TikToks ever. It was a white dude with a Twitch-like setup speaking to probably a camera, whatever. He has the podcast mic set up, dark room with the lights. And he's a white dude wearing a backwards hat, and he goes, yeah, I just don't think soul is anything to brag about. Get that unk stuff out of here, man. Thankfully, he's getting dragged, as he should. Because to some of us, we do take this seriously. I take it seriously. I also think when there is a white dude such as Schultz, who at times cosplays even with the dialect, there needs to be timeouts called in the game. And I think what's also happened is he's been able to get away with it for way too long. Way too long. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. I think people were waiting for that moment. And now it's occurred. And he's dealing with the repercussions. He is dealing with the consequences of his own actions. Now, you should also remember, Schultz is playing up like this anti-wokeness. You know, he even at one point said Kendrick is too woke to get a joke. That's insane. But he even invited who on his podcast prior to the general? Donald Trump. He invited Donald Trump. And he tried out material on like abortion. One outlet even basically called him the second wave after Joe Rogan in the manosphere. I agree and disagree with that. But the most hilarious part about it all, now Schultz is claiming that Lamar can't take a joke, despite the fact that Schultz clearly can't even hear a diss without telling on himself. See, that's another part of this, is that Kendrick didn't even say his name. And he responded so angrily and aggressively. What if the line wasn't for you? What if the line was for somebody else? You know what it speaks to? Because I'll tell you, it speaks to a deep-seated insecurity for Andrew Schultz, where he plays victim because he thinks that someone is talking about him when they very well could not be, and immediately plants his flag before it gets banned by a certain Ohio Republican lawmaker. He plants his flag and says, no, how dare you? I'm going to R-word you. Ha ha. Oh, whoops. Got a joke about R-word now because that's all I got. Insane. And who's going to come out on top on this? It's not Schultz. For the people that allowed this sort of rhetoric to go unchecked for so long, I think they're finally having that coming down to earth moment and realizing this guy is nothing. And they're probably going to hop off. But in turn, you know what's going to happen? A new audience is going to flock to him. And maybe that's his play all along. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Camera away.
I don't want to be on it.
I'm not.
Turn away.
No.
No.
I'm recording myself.
I am not going to be on your goddamn camera. Turn that shit away.
I'm recording myself.
Turn away. Turn the other way.
I'm working out.
I don't need to leave every time you want something.
I don't want nothing.
Leave.
I'm recording myself.
My
and when you walked the first time, I wasn't even recording.
On your phone, you. Okay.
Okay, what?
This is not your place.
It's not yours.
It is mine.
It's your place?
Yes, listen you.
Listen me, what?
I am a woman, okay? And you're a stinky, ugly man. You are trying to record me.
I am recording myself.
Me. No.
Keep walking.
Turn away. Turn away. I don't
You're
want
making a scene. You're making a scene for no reason.
I don't want my face on your website.
I'm not on a website.
Because this is what you're gonna do. I know what you're gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You are on watch. If I'm gonna find that out, you're going to jail.
Why you call?
My face not going into your camera.
You're mad. Oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah, she called me the N-word for no reason. She upset.
And hey, just a quick break in the action. You should go subscribe to my new show, The Rick Strom Show. I'm going to be interviewing people from sports, music, journalists, authors, sports doctors. It's going to be fantastic. Please go subscribe. Thank you. I've seen embarrassing moments, okay? And we have covered certainly a lot of them. And yet to see this play out the way that it did, it feels almost like this is something out of a movie, where the main subject is placed in a situation they did not ask for and are abused, are targeted, slurs are thrown their way. And it's a measure of their character in this scene to show how they would react. And I guarantee a lot of us would react very differently if we were to be the one that were being abused, that we're being threatened, and we're being yelled at and put down. This is gross, man. We don't even know what this person looks like. And yet they get so offended by the sight of a camera phone. This man is going through his workout. And as I've seen on TikTok and other places, people like to record themselves working out. It's sort of like a golf swing. They put the camera behind them so they could see their form go back and improve. Like a basketball player seeing his form, his jump shot, and a baseball player looking at film and a football player looking at film. This is all about improving. That's all that this is. And I commend this dude for not only wanting to better himself, because as someone who is trying to go to the gym more, I get it, but also the way that he was so composed throughout all of this. Her yelling, "I don't want to be on your effing website." Well, that was an assumption that he cares about you. He doesn't. There were other people, I'm sure, that were going by him at that track. Did they have a problem with it? No. I can't necessarily say that this was in public because I don't know if it is a private facility, if it's a private high school, a private community college, etc., if it's really open to the public, or if they just turn a blind eye when folks want to use the facility. But for her to act this way is dangerous and awful. And it shows more about her than it does about him. And I feel for this guy. I really, really, really do. Because to stand in the face of adversity and just treat it with a smile, because you are so amazed at the level of hatred over something that doesn't have to be, it's tough, man. I really, really, really feel for this guy. And for this person, I have to think there is some sort of trauma that just unleashed itself and was revisited when she saw that camera phone rolling. And I have to reiterate, we have no idea what she looks like. And this could have been avoided altogether if she just kept going. But she couldn't. She couldn't. She had to dig her heels in more and more and more. Atrocious behavior, truly. Flat out atrocious. And kudos to that dude. He has his head on straight and clearly knows how to diffuse many different situations that life has thrown his way. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.